Okay, let's unpack this. Our deep dive begins not really at the beginning, but more like an ending, or maybe a middle. It's this moment of high drama. Picture a very sweaty interrogation room, Nassau, Bahamas. Detective Laporta has just cuffed this guy, Alfie.
Right, and Alfie's just done something pretty much impossible. He won $2 million at roulette. We're talking hitting 3 consecutive single numbers. The odds are astronomical.
Nuts. And the very first thing he does with the cash.
Wires the whole lot, every cent, to some mysterious woman named Gianna Rule.
Okay, so that sounds like a clear-cut crime, right? Open and shut.
You'd think so. But what makes this immediately weird, fascinating, is Alfie's complete lack of a conventional defense. He doesn't deny anything. Not the win, not wiring the money.
So what does he offer?
His only evidence, his only plea, really, is this old, faded black marble composition notebook.
The notebook? Seriously?
Yeah, the title page says, "For the boss to be read upon my death."
For the boss, okay? And he gives this to the detective.
Hands it right over, claims it's his alibi, his comprehensive alibi.
Which must have confused Detective Laporta quite a bit.
Oh, completely. And then, to make it even stranger, Alfie just volunteers that he's dying. Terminal neurological disease, his time's already limited.
So why the big casino stunt then? What's the motive?
When Laporta asks that, Alfie gives him this cryptic line, the first of many, apparently. He says, "Suspicion and belief can't share the same bed."
Okay. Suspicion and belief.
And Alfie insists the notebook isn't a confession, is not, the ramblings of a dying man. He says it's simply a love story.
A love story involving a $2 million roulette win and a terminal illness.
Exactly. And that's where the really wild part comes in. Alfie claims he's lived, quote, many lifetimes. He says he has this power. Maybe a neurological quirk, maybe something else.
A power? What kind of power?
The power to trigger a second chance.
Yeah.
Anytime he feels a choice went wrong or he wants a do-over, he can get one.
A do-over. How does he, activate this massive reality-bending power?
It sounds almost too simple, but he says it takes incredible focus. He has to think, or even say out loud, the word twice.
Twice. Okay.
And at the exact same moment, tap some part of his body. His thigh, shoulder, palm, whatever.
And that does what? Sends him back.
Instantly. It rewinds his personal timeline. Back to an earlier point, a specific moment in that day, or even further back if he prepares. He claims he's been doing this for decades.
Decades. Repeating hours, days,
Yeah.
even years.
Months, years, yeah. Just to try and get a different outcome, quote-unquote better outcome.
Wow. Okay, so that sets up the big question for this deep dive, doesn't it? What's the actual cost? What happens when you have infinite do-overs for, well, a very finite, messy human life?
Exactly. Can you really use this kind of invincibility to perfect something like love, something that seems to depend on imperfection, on first tries?
Right. Let's dig into that. So to understand Alfie, we need to go way back to the beginning, 1966.
Right. He's 8 years old, a missionary kid, living in this thatched roof cabin in Kenya. Pretty remote.
And he's missing home, Philadelphia.
Terribly. He misses the city, the concrete. But his world there, it's kind of held together by these 2 really unique friends.
Okay, who are they?
Well, first, there's Lalu, an actual elephant, a huge bull elephant from a nearby ranch.
An elephant?
As a friend. Yeah, apparently Lalu would, gently scoop him up with his trunk, lift him way up. And then there's this local girl, wiry, energetic. Alfie only knows her as Princess.
Princess, okay. So the elephant and the girl.
That's his crew. And the sources, the notebook, I guess, paints this picture of just pure childhood innocence, sharing candy, reading comics under these huge trees.
Sounds idyllic.
Totally.
Yeah.
And whenever Lalu scoops him up, Alfie and Princess are always holding hands. It's very sweet, very pure.
And this leads to a specific moment.
Yeah, a really key moment. One Saturday, right before everything changes for Alfie, they're near the ocean. Lalu sprays him with water. They're changing clothes. And Princess, who, spoiler alert, we find out later, is Gianna. She just lays out this grand plan, like the ultimate childhood marriage pact.
What does she say?
She looks right at Alfie and says, "We should build a house here one day, Alfie, by the ocean. And then we can get married and Lalu can live with us." Okay.
Wow. Just pure 8-year-old certainty, a perfect moment.
Absolutely perfect. Untainted. But, like Alfie learns over and over, these perfect first-time moments often come right before, well, massive pain.
And the pain here is what triggers the power.
Exactly. The deepest pain you can imagine for a kid. His mother dies.
Oh, no.
She'd been sick, some local illness weakened her. Then suddenly, a pulmonary embolism It happens fast.
And Alfie, where is he?
Well, that's the crux of it. In the first timeline, the one that actually happened before any jumps, his father told him specifically, sit with your mother, stay quiet.
But he didn't.
He didn't. He's 8, restless, probably scared, wants to escape, so he puts on his Superman cape.
He had a Superman cape.
Oh, yeah, prized possession. And he runs outside on this dirt field jumping, trying to fly, trying to be indestructible.
Wise mom.
Well, his mom dies, alone in the cabin.
Oh, that's rough. The guilt must have been.
Staggering when his father finds him. Devastating. He has to live with knowing he chose make-believe heroism over his mother's last moments. And that desperate, agonizing regret. That's what triggers it, the wish to undo it.
So he thinks twice, or...
We don't know exactly how the first one works, if it was conscious, but he wakes up.
Back where?
Back in the cabin, wearing the cape, his father giving him the same instructions. Morning of her death. He's terrified because he remembers what's coming.
Does his mom know? Does she sense something?
This is the incredible part. When he finally goes to her bedside, she seems to recognize the trauma in him. She knew what happened somehow.
She knew about the gift, the power.
It seems so. She tells him, you're blessed to be one of them, so it's maybe hereditary. But, she warns him, it won't fix everything, Alfie. The second time won't always be better than the first.
Wow, so she understands it. And he gets his goodbye.
He gets the perfect goodbye he wished for. Sits with her, tells her everything. She lists things she loves about him. It's the scene he desperately wanted.
But she still dies.
She still dies, right on schedule. And this is key rule number 1, learned in the most brutal way imaginable.
Which is?
I can't change mortality. Someone's time is up, it's up, the win is fixed. The jump only changes how he experiences it.
So he doesn't save her. He just gets to watch her die again.
Exactly. Which you could argue is maybe even more traumatic than the first time when he was blissfully ignorant playing Superman. Now he's a direct witness. Twice.
God, that's a heavy burden for an 8-year-old. So, okay, the first use is driven by grief, regret, but then he moves back to Philly, right?
Yep, back to Philadelphia. And the next time he uses the power, it's for something way less profound.
Like what?
Simple, childish embarrassment. He's with some neighborhood kids, Dewey, Sandy, Paul, and they dare him to knock on the witch's house. You know, the spooky house on the block.
The classic dare. How does the first try go?
Total failure. He, taps the door once super lightly, then bolts, runs away terrified.
In the kids.
They mock him mercilessly. Wimp, wimp, there wasn't even anyone home. He's dreading school the next day, the shame. And that small, adolescent humiliation. It's enough.
He triggers it again.
He replicates the moment, taps his thigh, mumbles, stupid, stupid, maybe that's his
right.
Twice, and poof, he's back before the dare.
But now he knows the house is empty.
Exactly, and he knows the bullies expect him to fail. So he completely changes his approach, runs up, plants his feet, bangs on the door like crazy.
He really leans into it.
Oh yeah, screaming, come out, witch, show your ugly face, total performance.
And the bullies.
They freak out, they scatter, thinking he's either nuts or genuinely fearless. They run down the street. He won.
And what does he learn from that?
This is a really crucial, maybe corrupting insight for him. He realizes knowing what's going to happen before it happens is more than a unique power. It's godlike.
Oof. That's a dangerous thought for a kid.
It's the taste of invincibility. Escaping consequences not through courage, but through foreknowledge. And he gets addicted to it. To perfecting every little moment, avoiding any discomfort.
But you said it takes preparation. It's not just an easy reset button, the notebooks.
Right, the mental load is huge.
Yeah.
The basic rule is simple. Twice, tap, you go back within that day. But to jump back further, weeks, months. That needs precision, data.
Hence the notebooks.
Exactly. He starts keeping these incredibly detailed journals, chronologies of days, conversations, what people wore, minor events, everything. He needs it to land correctly in a past timeline without raising suspicion.
So he's constantly living with 2 timelines in his head, the current one and the blueprint from the last one.
Pretty much. It's a massive cognitive burden.
Yeah.
And he learns the hard way. It's not foolproof.
How so?
He tries to jump 2 weeks back.
Yeah.
Just because he got a craving for chocolate ice cream from a place called Custard King.
He jumped back 2 weeks for ice cream.
Yeah. He wanted to land before the craving hit so he could just go get it, but his memory of the exact timing was off.
So where did he land?
Back in the car, but the ice cream cups were already empty. He'd missed the moment.
And he's stuck.
Stuck. He has to relive those 2, probably pretty boring, weeks in real time until he gets back to the point he jumped from.
Ah, okay, so that's a key mechanic. No skipping back to the present.
Absolutely. Every jump means returning to your younger self and living forward from there, which explains why he feels like he's lived many lifetimes. He's constantly cycling, accumulating more time, more memories, more, well, probably trauma.
So, okay, he starts using this power in his teenage years. Socially, how does that go?
Predictably awkward, actually, and kind of hollow, because he's using the power to erase social fumbles, right?
Yeah.
Which means he's not really learning or growing emotionally.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, the classic 7 minutes in heaven party game, his first kiss attempt.
Boy. Disaster.
Total disaster. He gets matched with a girl named Adrian. It's silent, awkward. She tells him his aftershave smells like her dad's.
Ouch.
Yeah. They come out, everyone laughs. Stewie calls him a wimp. For Alfie, who thinks he's godlike, intolerable humiliation.
Yeah, tap, tap, twice.
You got it. Jumps back. Skips the aftershave this time. And now he orchestrates the kiss. Forces it, really. Makes sure it happens so he won't be mocked.
But how does it feel?
That's the thing. Technically, it's a success. He avoids the mockery. But emotionally, vacant. He realizes later his first kiss only happened on the second try. It was strategic for his ego, not real connection.
He manufactured it, removed the risk, the spontaneity.
Exactly. He's dodging the messy bits, the awkwardness that actually teaches you something. If you erase the mistake, you erase the vulnerability, the chance to connect despite the mistake.
Okay, so he is avoiding emotional growth, but then the story shifts back to mortality, right?
Right.
With his best friend.
Yeah, Wesley. Alfie is fiercely loyal to Wesley. He even uses the power in small ways to help him, like dealing with bullies.
Oh.
There's this incident where a bully, Alan Ponto, rips up Wesley's prized scrapbook about space. Alfie jumps back and somehow orchestrates events, so Ponto is forced to meticulously tape the whole thing back together. Petty revenge, but perfectly executed.
Okay, so he can use it to help others, in a way, but the stakes get higher.
Much higher.
Need more.
1974. Wesley joins the Marines. Alfie reads about this developing situation, the Koh Tang incident, where U.S. Marines get into trouble.
And he realizes Wesley is involved.
He figures out Wesley took a specific ship assignment that puts him right in the path of that disaster. He sees Wesley walking towards his death.
Oh, no. What does he do? Can he even do anything, given Rule 1?
Well, he tries. He makes a massive jump, goes back 5 months, sacrifices 5 months of his own linear life.
5 months. Just to warn Wesley.
Just to warn him. He uses his foreknowledge details about mean drill sergeants, stuff he couldn't possibly know to convince Wesley it's real. Tells him to get off that ship assignment.
Does it work?
It does. Wesley is spooked enough he takes a different, seemingly safer job at a training center stateside.
So Alfie thinks he did it. He beat fate.
He feels invincible for a bit, yeah. He outsmarted death. But 5 months later,
Don't tell me.
Wesley dies anyway, exactly when he's fated to die. Freak accident. Boiler explosion in the basement of the training center.
Oh, my God. So the rule holds.
Brutally. This becomes key rule number 2, which really just reaffirms and sharpens the first one. Yeah. It's not where, it's when.
You can change the circumstances, the location, the cause, but not the date on the calendar.
Exactly. Alfie only changed the scenery for Wesley's death. He didn't prevent it.
That's profoundly bleak, a staggering lesson about the limits of control. If he can't save his best friend, what can he control?
Right. And this existential crisis seems to push him to look for answers about the power itself, its origins.
Where does he look?
He goes to Florida, visits a nursing home to see his maternal grandmother, Yaya Nina.
And she knows about it.
Oh, yeah. She provides the deepest insights. She confirms she has the same gift. It came from her father. So it's definitely hereditary down the maternal line.
Wow. Okay. Does she explain how it starts?
She says it often seems to begin with some kind of initial, overwhelming heartbreak, something you desperately wish you could undo. For her, the first jump was escaping a creepy older man when she was young.
Makes sense. But does she offer any warnings?
A huge one.
Yeah.
Crucially important, especially about using it for relationships. For love.
What does she say?
She tells Alfie, your power. It's very tempting with love. You'll think you can make everything perfect. You can't.
You can't make love perfect with do-overs. Why not?
Yaya shares her own story. A tragedy. Her first true love was a man named George. Her family hated him, disapproved violently.
So she used the power.
She jumped back, avoided the conflict, married Alfie's grandfather instead. A safer, approved choice. But later, maybe after Alfie's grandfather died, she tried to reconnect with George. The spark was gone. Completely extinguished, whatever they had.
Yeah.
It was broken by her choice to rewind and take a different path.
Which leads to key rule number 3.
The big one. the unchangeable law of the heart, the central idea of Alfie's whole story, really. Yaya tells him, love is different. It's the only thing you can't do twice.
The only thing.
That's what she says. You can't manufacture it. You can't re-engineer authentic love once you've jumped back to avoid the path that created it.
Why, though? What's the logic there?
Seems to be about vulnerability, shared history, accepting flaws. Real love builds through overcoming things together. If Alfie jumps back, he erases that shared effort. He replaces it with his own foreknowledge, his own engineered perfection.
And the other person didn't fall for the perfect version. They fell for the flawed, trying version.
Exactly. By removing the original conditions, the original connection, he destroys the authenticity. The foundation crumbles.
Heavy stuff. And does Alfie listen to Yaya's warning?
What do you think? Almost immediately, no. He applies the power to what he sees as a selfless act, but, well, pretty self-serving when you look closely.
What does he do?
He finds out his dad, who's been lonely since Alfie's mom died, is planning to marry a woman named Adeline.
Okay. Alfie doesn't approve.
He sees Adeline take his mother's photo off the mantelpiece, and he panics. He thinks she's trying to erase his mother's memory, which feels like erasing part of him.
So he decides to intervene, using the power.
Yep. He figures out the exact night his dad is supposed to meet Adeline for the first time at a bowling alley. He jumps back to that day.
And just tells his dad not to go.
No. That might lead to questions.
Yeah.
He engineers an emergency. He needs a reason for his dad to stay home.
What kind of emergency?
He hurts himself. Badly. He does this intense skateboard jump into a creek, mangles his leg, needs a ton of stitches.
He deliberately injured himself.
Yeah.
Severely.
To force his father to take him to the emergency room and stay with him all night, making him miss the bowling alley meeting.
Wow. The calculation there is chilling. Trading his own physical pain to stop his father's potential happiness.
And it works. The dad never meets Adeline. He stays single for years afterward. Alfie gets what he wanted. His mother's memory feels safe.
But he denied his father companionship. Love, maybe. He rationalizes it as being a good son, protecting memory.
But really, it's emotional sabotage wrapped in a veneer of filial duty. It's the power enabling deep self-deception, protecting himself from change.
Okay, so Alfie's kind of adrift after all this. Wesley's death, manipulating his father's life. He must be emotionally exhausted.
Yeah, the notebook describes him as being in a funk. He takes a drive down to the Miami Zoo with his dad. And that's where it happens.
What happened?
He sees her again, Princess, from Kenya. Only now she's Gianna, all grown up.
Whoa! After all those years, does she remember him?
Instantly, she's this vivacious photographer, striking green eyes. And she remembers Lalu, the house by the ocean, the marriage pact. The connection is immediate, electric.
And Alfie.
Utterly smitten, totally captivated. And for once, faced with this incredible spontaneous reunion, he doesn't jump back. He cherishes the messy, real moment.
That's progress.
Huge progress. He decides right then he needs to know her. He even changes his life plans, enrolls in college in Boston, just because that's where she's going.
Okay, so he's pursuing her. This leads to their first real date.
Yes. And this is where Alfie tries to apply all his geniuses for perfection to the thing he wants most.
Yeah.
The date is set for Philadelphia during a massive hurricane.
A hurricane, dramatic setting for a first date.
Extremely. He goes to Gimbel's department store first. He wants to get her a gift.
Something thoughtful, hopefully.
Very. He buys a silver elephant necklace, a direct callback to Lalu, to their childhood, showing he remembered the most important things.
Nice touch. So she arrives at Gimbel's.
Right as the storm is really hitting, Alfie sees her, tries to rush into the revolving door to meet her, and bam, power goes out. The door jams.
They're trapped.
Trapped inside the revolving door compartment, separated by the glass. Wind howling outside, rain lashing down. It's chaos.
Sounds memorable, if nothing else.
They're yelling to hear each other over the storm. And in that moment, that chaos, that shared predicament, Alfie feels the raw energy of it, the risk. He confesses his feelings right there, gives her the necklace through the divider.
Wow. How does Gianna react?
She smiles through the glass, yells back over the wind, "Nothing could be better than this." And they have their first kiss through the cold, wet, dirty glass of a jammed revolving door during a hurricane.
Okay, that's actually kind of amazing. Unique, anyway.
For Alfie, it's perfection. The single most perfect moment of his life, he writes. Because it happened naturally. It required no second chance, no manipulation. It was real.
Finally, a perfect first time. But
Yeah.
knowing Alfie's story, There has to be a catch, right? The rules of fate and consequence.
Always a catch. Payment is always due for perfection, it seems. The catastrophic cost arrives the very next morning.
What is it?
He finds out his father. Because Alfie had the only family car for the date, his dad had to walk to the drugstore for aspirin. While walking, he dropped something, bent down by the curb on a busy street, and got hit by a drunk driver.
No, how bad?
His right leg.
Yeah.
Crushed. Needs immediate amputation below the knee.
Oh my God. Alfie basically traded his father's leg for that perfect kiss. That's an unbearable calculation.
Exactly. And the doctor tells Alfie his father will need constant care, will likely fall into deep, maybe even suicidal despair. The exact thing Alfie couldn't handle with his mother.
The responsibility, the guilt.
It's too much. He sees his father's bruised, unconscious face in the hospital bed, sees the future of suffering stretching out before them both, and he can't bear it. He takes one last look.
And whispers, twice.
Instantly. Jumps back.
Back to where?
Back to the breakfast table that morning. Before the hurricane date was even finalized, he looks at his dad and he just says, "Hey, I don't think I'll need the car today."
And that's it. The accident is averted.
Dad drives himself to the drugstore, gets his aspirin, comes home fine. Alfie avoids the burden, the guilt, the caretaking.
The date, the kiss, the necklace.
Gone. Wiped from the timeline. It never happened for Gianna. She calls later confused, maybe a little upset about the date fizzling out, but Alfie can't even call her back properly because in this new timeline, he never actually got her number during their zoo reunion.
So that perfect memory, it only exists in his head now. She has no idea.
Exactly. It's his alone. A secret, perfect moment that cost him. Well, everything, it turns out.
How so? What happens in the second life with Gianna?
That perfect memory becomes a ghost that haunts him. In this adjusted timeline, they do become friends in college. She's kind to him, friendly.
But no romance.
No romance. She dates other guys, like this popular soccer star, Mike Kurtz, Alfie. He's just a nice guy who helps her move boxes, the reliable friend, never the guy who held her hand in the storm.
Because he erased the moment of risk, the vulnerability she saw in him.
Precisely. He engineered the timeline to avoid his own guilt and pain, but in doing so, he hid the very parts of himself, the impulsive, romantic, slightly foolish parts that might have truly connected with her. He played it too safe.
Which leaves him to realize something important about love.
A really painful core principle he writes down. The truth about true love. What we yearn for deep down is a heart that will embrace us after we make a fool of ourselves.
And he never gave Gianna the chance to embrace his foolishness because he kept erasing it.
Exactly. By chasing perfection, by removing the mistakes and the effort needed to overcome them, he made himself unlovable in that specific, deep way. He couldn't let himself be imperfect enough for her in this second chance life.
Okay, so he's stuck in the friend zone in this timeline. Does he ever get out? Do they ever actually get together?
Miraculously, yes. It takes years, years of him being just the friend, but eventually somehow the universe, or maybe just persistence, brings them back together.
How does it happen?
It's almost like destiny reasserting itself. They end up getting married, really spontaneously.
Yeah.
In a general store in Pennsylvania, of all places.
A general store wedding.
Yeah, officiated by this kind of Nigerian immigrant owner named Dozie. And Dozie gives them this piece of advice that hits Alfie hard.
What's the advice?
Dozie tells them, suspicion and belief cannot share the same bed. The same line Alfie used on Detective Laporta years later. It feels like a sign.
So they're married? Are they happy? Is it like the life he wanted?
For a while, yeah. They move to New York, live a simple, pretty happy life. It's built on acceptance, finally. Gianna seems to understand his flaws.
What does she say about why it took so long?
She just tells him, kind of wisely, I was just waiting for you to grow up.
She accepted the journey, the imperfections.
Does he ever tell her about the power? The jumping?
He's tempted, desperately wants to share the burden. But Gianna, again, with this incredible intuition, senses something maybe too heavy. She basically tells him no.
Oh.
She just shrugs it off, says something like, who am I to undo that? It's not finished yet. Like she instinctively knows messing with his past or his secret isn't right.
Wow. She has incredible instincts. So Alfie settles down. Does he stop using the power?
Not entirely. He starts using it professionally. To become a successful freelance journalist.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Cheating deadlines. Sort of. He'd write a story, submit it, wait for the editor's feedback, the complaints, note them all down carefully in his journal.
And then jump back.
Tap twice, jump back a few days.
Yeah.
Rewrite the story, incorporating all the feedback before the editor even gave it. Submit a perfect first draft.
Okay, that's clever, but also built on avoiding critique, not actual skill improvement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His success is manufactured. Error avoidance, not real genius.
Yeah.
But it works. He gets known.
Does this lead to anything bigger?
Yeah, he has one big moment of fame. It involves another jump. But this time, maybe slightly more altruistic. He's in Mexico covering a story about a deaf runner named Jamie.
Okay.
He figures out Jamie is going to be caught in a bank robbery. So Alfie jumps back to make sure he's there during the robbery.
To save him.
Yeah. He manages to save Jamie, but Alfie himself gets shot in the arm in the process because this reluctant hero figure.
Yeah, that gets attention.
Big time. Hollywood buys the rights to his story,
Mm-hmm.
plans to make a movie.
Starring who?
A huge actress, Nicolette Pink. And she's not just starring, she's directing too.
Okay, so now Hollywood enters the picture. This feels like trouble brewing.
Definitely. Nicolette represents everything his simple life with Gianna doesn't. Glamour, fame, constant attention, maybe a different kind of perfection.
Does she notice Alfie?
Immediately.
Yeah.
She's drawn to him. She even tells him that acting is her way of getting a second chance, escaping her own past. There's this weird mirroring of their core issues.
And things escalate.
Rapidly. They're in Mexico. He's consulting on the film. Late night in a bar. She sings that line from the other Alfie movie. What's it all about, Alfie?
Well, that's direct.
Yeah, and she touches his hair. He feels this intense jolt. It's pure temptation.
Does he resist?
Later, yes. The big moment comes in an elevator. She's all over him. Starts undoing his belt, really making a move.
And Alfie?
He pulls back. Guilt. His marriage vows, something holds him. He shouts, I can't, Nicolette, I'm married. And he literally flees the elevator, runs back to his room.
Wow. He actually resisted. That's huge for him.
It is. A moment of real strength, maybe.
Yeah.
But he goes back to New York. And things with Gianna aren't great.
What's wrong?
The marriage is fraying. They've had miscarriages. There's distance. Gianna's feeling frustrated, maybe worried about time running out for kids. Alfie feels the failure, the disappointment.
And the memory of that perfect Gimbel's kiss still haunts him?
Big time. He's consumed by the failure of this second chance life, the one he engineered. He feels the loss of that original perfection. And he starts getting paranoid, maybe jealous. Thinks Gianna might be reconnecting with her old boyfriend, Mike Kurtz.
This sounds like a dangerous spiral.
It is. He's looking for relief, an escape from the emotional pain he can't jump away from. One night, fueled by alcohol, jealousy, despair, he makes the worst possible decision.
He jumps back.
He screams twice, desperately.
And jumps right back to that moment in the elevator with Nicolette.
Oh no. And this time?
This time, he doesn't resist. He gives in. Has the affair. His notebook says starkly, I let her do everything she wanted. He used the power not to fix a mistake, but to indulge in one he'd previously overcome. That's a new low.
It's the ultimate betrayal, really. Retroactive infidelity.
Yeah.
And the consequence is immediate, just like Yaya warned.
How so?
He goes back to Gianna, tries to act normal, tries to patch things up, suggests they try for a baby again, but something fundamental has changed in him.
And Gianna senses it, even though she doesn't know about the jump or the affair.
This is the shift. Yaya's rule holds. When he brings up the baby, she winces. Says, Alfie, we need to talk. The authentic connection, the messy, hard-won love they rebuilt, it's gone. Shattered by his internal betrayal.
Because he changed his mind. He chose differently in his heart, even if it was in a past timeline.
Exactly. The core warning. If you change your mind, your first love will never love you again. His attempt to escape his own pain by jumping back and choosing infidelity destroyed the very foundation of the love he had. He proved Yaya right in the most devastating way.
So the marriage ends. What happens to Alfie then?
He basically just wanders for years, decades maybe, ends up in Australia, works manual labor jobs, carpenter, plumber, just existing.
Trying to outrun the mistake, the memory.
Seems like it. Living in this self-imposed emotional exile. Trying to forget Gianna's final look of disappointment, the one thing he truly couldn't undo.
Does he keep using the power?
The notebook doesn't suggest he uses it much then. He's just adrift until his body finally gives out.
The neurological disease catches up with him.
Yeah. He gets the diagnosis, terminal. Then he suffers a major stroke, loses his speech, use of his left side. He's trapped, powerless, immobile in a hospital bed.
That's grim. Is this the end?
Almost. There's one more turning point. A nurse, trying to entertain him, puts on a movie. The 1966 film, Alfie.
Oh, the irony. His namesake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He lies there watching Michael Caine play this charming but ultimately selfish womanizer. And the film's ending, where Alfie turns to the camera, lost and alone, asking, what's it all about? It breaks him.
He sees himself.
He sees exactly what he's become. A sad, lonely, pathetic man without love, he writes. He realizes he squandered the gift, chased invincibility, perfection, and ended up completely alone and broken.
So what now? He's dying. He can't fix his body. He can't get Gianna's love back.
But he realizes there's one thing he can still do. He can't save himself, he can't rekindle love, but he can still give love. He can correct one final mistake. Not his own romantic one, but a financial one involving Gianna.
The casino scam, that's where this comes in.
Yes. His impending death gives him the motivation for one last calculated, selfless jump. He goes back to the day before his arrest in the Bahamas, the day the Notebook narrative begins.
To pull off the $2 million win, but why, if it's not for him?
It was never for him. It was all for Gianna. It was actually a complex rescue mission.
Rescue from what?
From Mike Kurtz, her ex-boyfriend, the soccer star. Turns out they got married after Alfie and then divorced. And Kurtz was planning his own scam.
Kurtz was going to cheat the casino.
Yeah. He'd rigged a specific roulette wheel with a special ball, had his numbers picked out to win millions.
And Alfie found out, using the power.
Presumably. Found out Kurtz's plan, his numbers. So Alfie swoops in just before Kurtz can execute the scam, bets Kurtz's own numbers, wins the $2 million.
Steals the stolen money, basically.
Exactly. And immediately wires it to Gianna.
Okay, but why wire it to that weird account in Zimbabwe? For rock iguanas?
That's the clever part.
Oh.
Mike Kurtz apparently owned a big chunk of Gianna's photography business. If Kurtz got caught cheating and went to jail, his assets would be frozen, potentially ruining Gianna financially.
Ah, so Alfie needed to get the money to her cleanly, untraceably linked to Kurtz while simultaneously exposing Kurtz.
Right. Protect Gianna's career and finances, blow up Kurtz's scam, and ensure he gets caught for the theft instead. He's setting himself up to be arrested. He knows this is his last act.
So in this second life, the one after the affair, he'd spent years just being her friend, her assistant, the guy carrying boxes. And his final act is this elaborate protective financial maneuver.
Yes. A final act of service, of love, even if it's not romantic love anymore. Which brings us to their final meeting. The Queen's Staircase in Nassau.
The setting for the handover of the notebook.
Right. Gianna meets him there. In this timeline, remember, they were never married, never had the Gimbels kiss. She's just his friend and employer. She thinks he's maybe losing his mind talking about many lives.
But she admits some of his stories feel familiar.
Yeah, there's this strange resonance. He knows things he shouldn't. And Alfie, knowing Laporta is closing in, he confesses everything. The power, the jumps, the Gimbels kiss, only he remembers. The decades of devotion even after losing her love.
How does he explain his recent life being her friend?
He explains that after the stroke, in his previous timeline, he jumped back one last time, resolving to live out his final months simply being her friend, doing all the supportive things he couldn't do right the first time without demanding perfection or romance.
And Gianna starts to understand the depth of it.
The sacrifice hits her. She had apparently referred to him dismissively as her chauffeur, her toilet unclogger. Now she realizes the hidden lifetime behind it. She whispers, "My everything."
And Alfie's final message to her.
He says, basically, if you can't accept the stories of my many lives, just accept the message that runs through all of them, that you are deeply loved, Gianna.
Wow. Okay. Peak emotional moment. And then Laporta arrives.
Laporta catches up, ready to make the arrest.
Hmm.
But Alfie has one last move, one final, ultimate jump. And this time, it's not just for him.
What does he do?
He grabs Gianna's hand, whispers, "Twice." And they vanish, right off the Queen's Staircase.
By leaving Laporta with?
Just that crumpled envelope Alfie left behind, addressed, "For Detective Laporta to be read upon my death." The notebook, his confession.
But there's a twist in that note, right? The real reason for the final jump back to the casino.
The ultimate twist. The note explains the scam, stopping Kurtz, protecting Gianna, but reveals the primary motivation for Alfie jumping back to that specific day wasn't even Gianna's money. It was for Laporta himself.
For the detective, how?
In the original timeline, before Alfie intervened with his final jump, Mike Kurtz apparently tried to escape after his scam failed. He got into a rigged car, and in his botched getaway attempt, he ended up crushing the leg of a casino security consultant, an American.
Let me guess.
Detective Vincent Laporta.
No way. Alfie jumped back, endured the arrest, the interrogation, all of it, partly to save the leg of the very man who was arresting him.
That's the ultimate selfless act. He saw Laporta's fate mirrored his own father's injury, perhaps, and he used his last gift, sacrificing his freedom, his reputation, not just for the woman he loved, but to prevent the suffering of a stranger, an adversary even.
That's profound. He finally moved beyond trying to fix his own life and used the power purely for someone else.
It's the pivot point, realizing the only true measure of the gift wasn't personal gain, but selfless action. Contentment over invincibility.
So where do Alfie and Gianna end up after that final jump from the staircase?
The epilogue confirms it. They land back in August 1978, Philadelphia, the day of the hurricane.
Back to the Gimbel's revolving door.
Back to the beginning of their romantic story. But this time, Gianna isn't ignorant. That final jump, holding Alfie's hand, somehow transferred his memories, his entire Second Life experience, to her in an instant.
So she now knows everything. The power, the rules, the kiss, the father's accident, the affair, the sacrifice.
Everything. She sees Alfie waving from inside the jammed revolving door, and she knows exactly what's coming. The perfect kiss, the horrible consequences, the decades of pain and misunderstanding, the final redemption.
Well, what does she do, knowing all that?
She runs towards him, towards the door, choosing it all, choosing the messy, flawed, painful path, but this time with open eyes, fully aware.
Choosing him knowing the mistakes they'll make.
Because maybe, as the notebook concludes, the truth about true love is that it can wait a lifetime. Or two. The second chance wasn't about rewriting the past perfectly, but about gaining the wisdom to live the next chance authentically together. #outro. So Alfie's whole life experiment, all laid out in that notebook.
Yeah.
It really boils down to maybe 3 profound takeaways. Things that apply even if you can't jump through time.
Okay, what's the first one?
The ultimate limit. Mortality. Rule number 1, learn the hard way. You might be able to fiddle with the how or the where of death, change the scenery, but you can't change the when. That date seems fixed. Second chances hit a hard wall there.
Right. Immutable fate on that front. What's the second takeaway?
That's the core moral, the really unique rule Alfie kept violating. Love. You just can't make it happen twice. You can't engineer genuine affection with a do-over.
Why again? Because it kills the vulnerability.
Exactly. Trying to perfect love by erasing the mistakes, the awkwardness, the shared struggle. It destroys the authentic connection. You remove the very things that often forge the bond in the first place.
Okay. Mortality is fixed. Love can't be done twice. What's the final lesson from Alfie?
It's what he finally learned right at the end, lying helpless in that hospital bed. The only truly rational act, the only thing that ultimately matters, is love. Not romantic love, necessarily, but selfless action. And the real lifesaver isn't invincibility or perfection. It's contentment, accepting the present, flaws and all.
He had to stop trying to be godlike and finally just choose to be human.
Precisely. His grandmother, Yanina, she warned him, didn't she? If you keep getting second chances, you won't learn a damn thing.
Yeah. But it seems Alfie actually learned more from the mistakes he couldn't undo. His mother, Wesley, losing Gianna the first time. Those irreversible moments taught him more than the thousands he successfully erased.
Absolutely. He had to hit rock bottom, become that pathetic figure watching his namesake on screen, to finally grasp the value of the messy, flawed, unrepeatable first-chance life he kept trying to escape. A life defined by avoiding failure is, ironically, a life that feels completely.
It makes you think. So here's a final thought for you listening. Considering the life you've lived, all its ups and downs, if you had Alfie's power, just once, if you could change one single mistake from your past.
Just one.
But
Yeah.
you knew, absolutely knew, that changing it would also irrevocably erase the best memory you have, that one perfect, unrepeatable moment of joy or connection. Would you still make the jump? Would you still go back?